Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching the Brand New Media Show today. Today, we'll be talking about high blood pressure, the non-tab ways of lowering your blood pressure. This is part 2 of Living Healthy series. Last week, we had Dr. Hiramalini Seshadri talking about various ways of lowering your high blood pressure. So she's going to continue where she left off, the 5 non-tab ways of lowering your blood pressure. And we want to welcome her to the show. Welcome to the show, Dr. Hiramalini.
Thank you, Brenda. A very rather late good evening from this part of the world.
Yes.
Okay, the morning there. Now, last time around, as we sort of ran out of time, I could only focus on the African American community's dietary approach to tackle hypertension. Now, why did I focus there? It's like this. Now, if a mother has 2 children and one of them is really sick, then that kid gets all the attention, right?
Right.
Well, so that's why I focused on the African American community, because they're literally sitting on a sickness time bomb. But having said that, in this context of high blood pressure, it looks like the second child is quite sick too. The majority, that is the non-African Americans, are not faring too very good either. 46% of them, according to the 2017 criteria, are hypertensive. And they have the same complications. It's just that they don't probably get it as frequently as their African American brothers and sisters. And the causes for the high blood pressure are just the same. The number one culprit is still diet, the foods that's eaten. Now, for the past 50 years plus, we've had many doctors who've come out promoting this plant-based diet in general America, cutting across all racial lines. And the pioneer doctor, someone who's very dear to my heart, is Dr. ELLSWORTH WAREHAM. I think we should have a picture of him somewhere. And why do I like him so much? Because he had a lot to do with the medical college where I trained, the Christian Medical College of Vellore, South India. He was a cardiac surgeon from Loma Linda. And in the 60s, he had been to India.
Okay.
And he was a vegetarian, and he walked the talk, and he reaped all the rich benefits. He was assisting in cardiac surgery, even at the age of 96, I'm told, drove his car, even on his 100th birthday, and 2 years ago, at the ripe old age of 104, he bid us all goodbye. Okay, that's saying something. And then there is the famous Dr. Esselstyn, okay? Many, many, many others. Now, what are the main reasons why people don't change over? One, they don't have the information, okay? And that we'll set right in this talk, and let's hope everyone watches it. The second reason is, I just love my meat too much, I can't give it up. But the third reason is, I want to make the change, but I don't have access to all these lovely health foods. So let's take the first one, the information. Now, I can give you 2 excellent sources of information. And today, everybody's got a mobile phone or a laptop. You can easily access it. One is the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. Because they found that industry is interested in the bottom line, their profits. See, they try to influence doctors' opinions. So this is a honest, non-profit site where you will get the honest truth, okay? It's called the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, started by Dr. Neil Barnett, and there are lots of doctors on that site now. Okay. Another is nutritionfacts.org. Nutrition facts as one word. And that is a website run by Dr. Michael Greger. Now, he's become very famous now in COVID-19 times because he's written a fabulous book on COVID-19 and what to do so that we can protect ourselves from the next pandemic that's coming, which he says is around the corner. Okay? So that is an absolutely up-to-date website, absolutely scientific information, and whatever he earns from all this goes to charity. Okay? So these two are wonderful sources of information.
May I ask you a question? I mean, you can pick up where you left off. Since we're talking about the COVID-19 and the pandemic, what are your thoughts on that? Just give me your thoughts, your personal thoughts on that.
COVID-19, obviously everyone's not getting it, right? So those who catch it are those whose immunity is down or those who have comorbidities. And since we're talking of America, that's why the African American population is, seems to be the first target because of successive generations of poor eating habits. Immunity is down, and there's lots more comorbidity like hypertension, diabetes. All of these you can see are linked to food in some way or the other. Okay, so that's why there's so much trouble there. So we're going to have these viruses. If not COVID-19, it's going to be another virus. So what's the solution? We have to improve our immunity. No two ways about it. Okay, and so that again brings us back to nutrition. Well, I've given you the sites where you can get the information. Okay, now we go on to the second reason. Those who say, oh, I just love my meat too much, I can't give it up. So what is the solution for this group of people?
You have some people cannot give up meat.
If you can't give up your meat altogether, at least be sensible enough to give up the red meat and all the processed meat. Okay, because that has a lot of salt, and not just salt, a lot of not so good chemicals. For example, the bacon industry. Okay, you're increasing your chances of getting cancers. All right, and if you want to eat your meats, you've got to use your common sense and reduce the other risk factors, like avoid all these tinned, canned stuff. Even baked beans has a lot of salt and a lot of white sugar in it.
So the baked beans are not good for you.
Okay, take care of that. So try to reduce your salt intake. Read all the labels. Avoid white sugar. Okay, get on to right weight. Okay, exercise and make use of all the behavior modifications, changes. Using your mind, yourself, everything, which we'll talk about even in the coming session. Okay. And you have to check your numbers. Now you're not on the best of diets, right? If you're eating meats, so then be sensible and check yourself. Check your numbers. Is your BP okay? Is your cholesterol okay? Now, to quote Dr. Ellsworth, if your cholesterol is below 150, you're fine. Okay. Or just pray that you'll be very lucky.
Now, if it's below 150, you're fine.
If you go to your doctor and he prescribes a tablet, you must take it. He might prescribe something to lower cholesterol. But having said that, many studies prove that tablets are not as good as changing your diet. Okay? They're only second best, really. Okay? And if you're continuing to eat meat, there's one little secret I can share. It is oxidized cholesterol that is harmful. So take a lot of antioxidants. And where do you get them? In all the veggies, the dark green veggies. So if you have meat, you better have much more of veggies on your plate.
That's very important. That's very important. I want to make sure that people understand and hear that if they're going to eat meat, they must increase their green vegetables. Is that correct?
Increase their green vegetables and fruits. That's not enough. And keep a tab on your numbers. What's your blood pressure like? What's your cholesterol like? Don't let it get out of hand. Go see a doctor. And if he prescribes a pill, be ready to take it regularly. Okay? All right. Now, the third reason why people are not able to stick to this kind of a diet is though they want to. And I've seen many ladies like this. Okay. Now, the ladies, they want their children to be well. See, the first question the women usually ask is, okay, doc, I've got this high blood pressure, but I don't want my son to get it. I don't want my daughter to get it. What can I give them? And unfortunately, this is a disease that's commoner in the lower socio-economic strata, okay, across racial lines. Whether you're African American, whether you're not an African American, if you're not on the wealthy side, invariably you're living in a neighborhood where you don't have supermarkets nearby, you don't have vegetable markets nearby, you just have convenience stores maybe, or Dollar Tree stores, or fast food joints. And in a big country like America, it's not like Singapore where we have such good public transport. So what do you do when there's nothing nearby? You just pick up Coke and whatever you can. So then that leads to bad nutrition. And this is where I want to introduce another hero of mine. He's Ron Finley. Okay. He was a guerrilla gardener, a gangster gardener. He used to live in Los Angeles in one of the not so wealthy neighborhoods. And he wanted to get good vegetables and fruits for his family. So what did he do? There was this little patch of land between the block where he lived and the road. So he started growing vegetables there. And the city council was up in arms, naturally, because it was not his land. But today, they are his greatest cheerleaders. And in fact, he's brought up more than 150 community gardens, I hear. And from Singapore, I can understand. You don't need all that much land to grow your own vegetables. A windowsill is good enough. A little balcony is good enough. Okay? And you can grow it in little containers.
That's
so
right. That's very important. That's very important, doctor. I just want to make
vegetables.
I want to make sure everybody understands that here in Memphis, in the lower community areas, if there's no fresh vegetables around closer, you can create a garden in your backyard or your family's backyard.
You don't even need a backyard. You just need a balcony and little containers.
Start garden. Yes, I love gardening.
And what do you grow? Grow spinach, grow tomatoes, grow peppers, grow herbs like fenugreek, grow your own kale. Kale is a wonder vegetable. You can even grow sweet potatoes, curry leaves, coriander. Okay, so you become self-reliant. In Singapore, because of COVID, this little island, all the food had to be imported. But now they realize we have to be self-sufficient in food. And so, and here it's all apartment living. Very few people have houses. Okay, and so you find all little balconies. People are starting their own little vegetable patches. Okay, so that's something that can be done. And top down never works. They tried this I'm told, in New Orleans, because they found that the poorer neighborhoods were looking ugly, So they tried top down approach and started these gardens, but they just dwindled in number. But when it's a ground up approach, like Ron Finley, then it's growing, you see? And this is where, the church could have a very big role. You can have a community center, and you can have the church helping people grow community gardens so that everybody can pick up vegetables, and have a good diet.
Okay.
So you don't wait for the supermarket. You help yourself.
Dr. Seshadri, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back. You too can have this Living Healthy t-shirt just by looking at the email on the screen. Living Healthy. Welcome back, Dr. Seshadri. Let's pick up where we left off.
Okay, thank you, Brenda. So then let's move on from food to the next of the 5, that is exercise. I'm talking of physical exercise. Everyone's heard of, go for a brisk walk, run, jog, and so on. But I would put gardening on top of the list.
Okay.
You have a backyard, fantastic, because you'll get enough exercise, planting, watering, weeding, and you're outdoors, out there in the sun. That's good for you. Okay. And plus, best of all, you're growing your own vegetables, okay, which can help you a lot in battling this hypertension. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So gardening is an excellent exercise. And for those who like dancing, I recommend dancing. Put on some music and shake a leg.
That's me. I like to shake a leg, Doc. Bren like to shake a leg.
You can just do it at home in your own drawing room. And maybe once a week, I recommend cheer walking. This is what I recommend to a lot of my patients. Now, what is cheer walking? You make a nice power sandwich, or maybe you make a nice salad, or maybe, you just steam some sweet potatoes, add some grated carrots, squeeze some lemon, add some mustard, a dash of sauce, pack it up, and you walk brisk 2 blocks away at least, and find one elderly person, somebody living alone, and just give it to them. Make it your routine. Make it your weekly cheer walk. You're cheering that person up, and I tell you, you feel so good at the end of it. And this feel good is a very, very good thing for all diseases and hypertension included. Okay? So maybe dance 2-3 times a week.
Okay.
Okay, play some music, and once a week do your cheer walk. Let it not be just a mindless walk. And you'll do it because you know that other person is expecting you.
They're expecting you to come.
Yes, that will make you go for your walk. Because otherwise, like New Year resolutions, you'll walk maybe for 1 week and then the walk sort of gets forgotten. But this, that elderly lady is waiting for her salad or for that sandwich or just that hello from you. And so you'll do it. You see? So that's a practical way.
Okay.
And then today, did you know today is World Music Day? Music can help a lot.
I love
it. Today is World Music Day. So what kind of music helps? They say that they've done studies on this, you see, and they say that classical music, finish your TV watching by 6 in the evening, okay, finish it. Then finish your dinner as early as possible. Listen to classical music with one constant rhythm, you see. I mean, we all know, what did our mothers do to put us to sleep? Lullabies, right?
Lullabies.
So soothing classical music is very good. It will help you get a good night's sleep. Okay? So that's one activity. Any other activities? Singing. Yes.
That's
singing
enough.
Karaoke, singing, or joining the church choir. Painting. Another activity. If you like painting, get started on all these things that you've not done, which you wanted to do. Okay? And then if you have access to a swimming pool, you see, even as you sit in your studio, Brenda, just imagine that you're in water. Isn't that a lovely feeling? You feel so relaxed.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Just getting into water makes you feel so good. So swimming is a very good exercise. It not only exercises your muscles, it relaxes you. You see? So, because it's very important that you start on some exercise that you like. Okay? Because just starting on some jogging, some running, which you're not really, if your heart is not in it, you're not going to continue it.
Okay.
It's important to start on some activities that you grow to love, and therefore you will continue.
Okay.
And therefore it will be good for you.
What about the breathing? What about the breathing techniques?
Yeah. Breathing techniques, I'm going to take it at the next session. But now we bring on to rest. Okay. I spoke about physical exercise, but physical rest is also important. And rest at night and rest in the daytime. Let's first talk about rest at night. Now you will find that a lot of the people who have problems with blood pressure are on the fatter side, overweight or obese. Okay? And a lot of people snore. You wouldn't know if you're snoring, but your husband or your wife or your child will tell you you're snoring. So, and this snoring means, your airways are getting blocked. Okay. And at that time, your blood pressure could go really, really high. Okay. So if you're on the overweight side and people at home are telling you you're snoring, okay, they want a separate bedroom because, you're creating too much of noise at night, mention this to your doctor. Because whether your doctor asks you or not, mention that I have this problem of snoring so that they can check out. There are certain tests that they can do and check your blood pressure at night and, make sure that you're okay. Okay, so this is something we need to be aware of.
Yes,
because
we have
obesity
a lot of
goes
people.
with blood pressure.
Yes, a
And
lot of.
how do you get it? Many people say, I can't seem to fall asleep. Okay. And this is where yoga comes in. Okay. And by the way, today is also International Yoga Day.
Awesome.
Today's many days. Today's Father's Day. Okay. International World Music Day, International Yoga Day. And there is one yogasana that's called Shavasana. Shavasana. It's a very simple thing. Okay. And I can vouch for it because when I went for yoga lessons, my daughter and I, we used to go together and they would say Shavasana and I would fall asleep. She would be so embarrassed because everybody else would be awake and here mama was out for the count. So it's a very good asana to help you sleep. Okay. So this much for night sleep. And if you must ask yourself, are you burning the candle at both ends? Okay. I mean, our needs can never stop. Needs keep multiplying. Okay. So it's up to you to put a ceiling on those needs or desires and say this much enough. So don't push yourself to too many jobs. You see, if you're hypertensive particularly. Okay. So that you get your night sleep. What about the daytime? I've mentioned this in an earlier talk, but a power nap helps greatly in hypertension. There are enough studies to show that it helps. Okay, so you need rest in the middle of the day. Put a timer in your mobile for 20 minutes or 25 minutes. Don't take any calls at that time. Just be horizontal and have a relaxed little teeny break. That will help you get by the rest of the day with a lot more energy. Okay. And then finally, hurry. Morning rush hour is the bane of hypertension. Okay.
Yes.
So
because everybody's always rushing. Everybody's always rushing in the mornings. A lot of people's always late for work. There's a lot of accidents during that time. So yes, you're right. It's a lot of stress in the morning time.
If you're driving to work, start a little earlier. Okay. And if you're the woman of the house and you have to make sure that everybody's had their breakfast, everybody's packed their lunches. Okay. So make sure that your mornings are not too rushed. And how can that be? Starts with an early bedtime. Because if you go to sleep late, you get up late and you're late for everything and, then your morning's out. So if you go to sleep early, you can get up early. You can have your green tea with lemon relaxed. You make sure that, so make sure you use your common sense there. Okay. In India, we say hurry, worry, curry. This is what leads to high blood pressure. So the hurry factor needs to be tackled. Right? So today we've looked at diet, cutting across racial lines. Okay, it's very important. We've looked at physical exercise and we've looked at activities that you like, that you will feel like continuing. Okay, it's not a doctor's prescription. It's what you like to do, and therefore you will do it.
Yes.
Okay? And we've looked at rest in the night, and are you overweight? Are you snoring? Then bring it to the notice of your doctor so that they can attend to it. And how to fall asleep using a yoga technique. And we've looked at daytime getting a power nap. as well as making sure that your mornings are not like, rush hour mornings. Okay. So
Okay.
I think, I don't know how your time is. I think we're sort of, Martha's going to say cut now.
Yes.
So we'll stop today and continue on our next session with all the behavior and the mind and everything.
Are you able to touch bases with the breathing techniques in 3 minutes?
Yes. Now, I'll tell you the fundamental basis of it. Our breathing is connected to our mind. Okay? When you're anxious, you tend to breathe fast and shallow. When you breathe deep and slow, you tend to relax. Okay? That's the basic thing. So it's very difficult to control your thoughts. Everybody for centuries they've tried it, it's not worked. But we can control our breathing to some extent. So you work on that. That's the basic premise. You work on your breathing and therefore you can control your thoughts. Same way, you can't tell your heart now beat slowly, blood pressure come down. It doesn't work. But when you breathe slow and deep, automatically your blood pressure tends to come down. Your pulse rate tends to come down. So again, you use the breathing. Okay? So this is the basic, what shall I say, the fundamental of it.
Okay, so the correct way of breathing is how? Very slowly. Is that correct?
Yeah, the simplest, morning, take a deep breath.
Deep breath.
Deep breath and breathe out. For 5 minutes. Whenever you feel stressed out, just sit back, close your eyes, take a deep breath, breathe out. Okay? And I must add this as well. When you go to the doctors to check your blood pressure, make sure that you go into the office only after you've sat down and done your slow, deep breathing. Don't go hurrying into the office and your blood pressure is going to be high.
Okay. All right.
And don't have blood pressure after a cup of coffee and things like that. I mean, that they'll tell you. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right then. Namaste.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hiramalini Seshadri. I know it's late in Singapore, but I love all of your very important information that you're giving us with this Living Healthy series. And we'll be back with more with her educating us with Living Healthy series. You too can have this Living Healthy t-shirt just by sending me an email to place your order. Order today.